Hi, Aries. Okay, let's see what's going on the next 72 hours for my Aries. This is your crystal. This is a little baby. I'll show it to you closer up. So this is called Faden quartz. Faden, and it's so pretty. It's also super powerful because of the way that it forms, and it's super scientific. So I don't remember all of the details, but basically it forms between two rocks, like almost as a bridge over a really long period of time. And it has all of these multiple layers and little marks on it. So it has marks that are kind of similar to, if you've seen like a Lemurian or Lemurian Lemurian quartz. If you've seen those, though, they have like little etchings on the side, a bunch of little lines is kind of what it looks like. And people believe, because of the power and strength of these crystals with these marks and the time that it takes, like the very long time that it takes them to form, like this is one of the oldest types of crystals in the world that we found so far anyways. But people believe that one of the attributes, the spiritual attributes of this crystal, is that it can contribute to us analyzing our own personal growth in a gentle way, though. It's very pure energy, and it's like it has energy frozen in time. So it's almost like it holds space and time. It holds so many different phases and eras and millennia within it. Isn't it so pretty? So it grows in a very specific way with all of these little, often it has all these little crystals that grow off of it in interesting ways. This very much talks about clarity. Unparalleled clarity, enhanced inner vision, the opening up or blooming of the spiritual body. It's a very spiritual stone. It's very unique also. It amplifies the connection to your root chakra and Gaia as well, because of how old it is, how long it has been connected to Gaia. So that's another thing. Maybe a lot's opening up spiritually within the next couple days. You might really want to ground, or you might just want to ask that this crystal transmit some of its grounding and very powerful energy to you. That's why I'm showing it to you, in case some of you need the support or activation from any of these crystals, so that you don't have to go out and pick them up yourself. You can still get some of the benefits. So feel free to connect with my little friend here. But what else am I getting from this? There's a lot. It really amplifies or paves the way for potent life force energy to be channeled. So this crystal does connect mostly with your lower chakras, specifically your root, but it's still a very spiritual stone. So it does help if you are opening up, right? Because it helps you connect to that spiritual energy that's coming through, while also, and making sense of it. Like it's a stone of intelligence as well, and clarity, right? So it helps you process that and ground it. It's almost like I'm getting an integration support kind of energy from that. Keep in mind that like spiritual downloads and activations and all these things, they happen differently for everybody, and it really depends on it depends on a lot of things. It depends on your energy, and oftentimes with source, with spirit, they connect to you in a very personal and individualized way. So they will speak your language to you. Like spirit talks to me through music and art all the time, intuitive practices as well that I can flow in and play with, like tarot and Reiki. So what is that for you? How do you like to connect and express yourself, and how can you find and connect to spirit there? Because I feel like there's also something there about the way that you're growing right now. This is deep for 72-hour reading. Judgment, literally, and the 10 of Wands. Wow, I feel like you are at a breaking point, and it is, I heard severe, but this is an energetic breaking point. The 10 of Wands and Judgment. God damn, that's, yeah, Plutonian energy. I feel like it's good though, because something needed to break to get you out of your head and to slow you down so that you can see clearly. There's something about why things are the way that they are. Okay. But the next 72 hours might be quite potent. A lot might come up from your past, with this being a stone of so much ancient kind of energy. It could be energy going off in a lot of different directions as well, or like many different things happening at once, or energies coming in, going out, cycles that had not closed, closing, new things starting, lots of parts in motion, and everything simultaneously kind of up in the air, but not in a stagnant way. You're actively making decisions here, and energy is moving very fast. Yeah, the 8 of Wands right there. Exactly as I was saying. So I feel like they want you to know that, okay? But I'm getting really sucked into this crystal, and I want to pull your cards. So let me focus here. Wow. I'm going through a lot. Okay, let's get 5 cards for Aries. I'm kind of living for this energy, though. It feels, I'm surprised I didn't see the Fool, but the 2 of Wands is similar. But I do understand why we didn't see the Fool, because I think that it's more of a, it's less of like a full leap and more you breaking a period of stagnancy maybe. And it's almost like when you decide to take action, or when something breaks with you and causes action to be taken. Yeah. Wow. I'm getting something falls apart for something to fall together is what this feels like. Something might fall apart for something to fall together, and I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. There's the 10 of Wands again. It came out in reverse. Thank God. Judgment again. You guys saw me shuffling. Okay. Yeah. We're gonna need a couple, let's get a couple oracle cards. You are imagining something in your mind. You have been, I feel like, for a while. I think that that's why things have been stagnant, but maybe you did not, you weren't really reading it as stagnant. Like you didn't really, I feel like you maybe haven't realized how stopped you've been, which is strange, but I think that you've been doing a lot of imagining or creating in your mind. And it's like you're thinking about the horizon. It's fantasizing a little bit, really. It is. About love, though. But I don't feel like it's a tangible opportunity right now or something that you're actively investing in, or it hasn't been. But I kind of think you want to change that because there's some sort of insecurity about not wanting to make something worse, not having the answer to something, not feeling completely stable in some area. Maybe also a lack of energy, but there's just a lack of clarity, and you're just like, I'm tired. Like, I can't have an important conversation right now. I don't feel like I have all the facts. I don't feel like I have the energy. I don't want to make it worse. It's almost like a two of swords energy a little bit where you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, because I feel that there's something that you're connected to in a positive way, but there has been a lack of movement, a lack of reconciliation of something where needed, and a pause that, you know, when you have those nights where like infinity fits into one evening and time slows down and you're so present and every detail is kind of like etched into your memory. It's like zooming in on life, or life in HD almost. I feel like you've been dreaming of what you want your life to look like, your future to look like, maybe a connection to look like. There's something about love, how you want to be loved maybe. But it feels like whatever this pause is here, infinity fit into it. Just like the Fade and Quartz that I was talking about, how it has all that. People believe that it holds a lot of memory, like over a very expanded period of time, that is a lot is come and gone while this little guy has been chilling, you know? And I think that there's something about that with you and some sort of connection. You stepped away and a lot of energy had built up to a breaking point, and something had still not been reconciled, and you still didn't feel like you had the answers or the confidence or the energy, the motivation, the clarity, you know, to do something. But I feel that you have felt very strongly connected or tied to something, regardless of the distance. And it could have been a very strange time, or where maybe time and space has felt odd for you as well, especially if there's a lot of stuff spiritually opening up. Things could have been, you know, slightly trippy. Let's get some oracle cards here. Clarify the Four of Wands in reverse. That's your theme. This is Venus in Aries. That's the placement that corresponds with this card. Venus is in Aries now and has been for the last while. She retrograded there, and now she's going to move into Taurus somewhat soon, I think, but she's in Aries right now. And this is an energy about loving yourself the way that you want to be loved. It's an energy of being your own lover, filling your own cup, being your own reflection, literally filling your own needs. So if you're longing for someone to come or you're missing someone, how is it that you're missing their affection and their attention? And then give it to yourself in that same way, like meet that need. If you feel like you need them to speak words of affirmation to you, then affirm yourself, right? Talk yourself up. Give yourself a pep talk. Look at yourself in the mirror and speak kindness to yourself. And you'll realize how capable you are, and that you don't truly, like, you're not empty. There's no void within you. You are not yearning or longing. And if you still want to connect to someone from that space of feeling full of your own love and clear and autonomous around making your own choices and what you truly want, then if you still want to move towards that person, that really says a lot, right? But it's in reverse. So it's, I feel that you haven't felt that way. You haven't felt liberated in your love for yourself. You haven't felt joyful, which sucks because Aries is generally very light energy. Not that you don't take things seriously. Yeah, exactly. So the ring in the Lenormand is about union. It's about connection, contracts, agreements. The heart is at the bottom of the deck. Oh, fuck. I'm using my phone and it's like confusing for me to remember where the fucking camera is on it instead of just taking it to the middle. The heart is about, you know, what you would expect the heart to be about. So the ring, it also can imply marriage, but it just is like basically all types of contracts and partnerships. And that can even be a past life or karmic or, you know, whatever. It's a binding promise. That's what's represented with the ring. But it's like what is being pledged is usually in the surrounding cards. And so this is kind of you pledging to not love yourself, but to be very maybe self-critical, maybe really hedge yourself in, tell yourself that you're not capable of meeting your own needs, like long and yearn and resent someone for the distance between the two of you while still feeling so connected. It's like what that really is that you are not moving towards something that you love and would rather be connected to. But I don't know why you're not. You maybe haven't been completely able to be honest with yourself about that here for some reason. And again, it could have been because you felt like moving towards this was not an option for some reason. Maybe a very tangible reason, like all the things we listed before about not having time or energy or the answers and just feeling overwhelmed. But I feel like there's some sort of union or a commitment or a promise here. And it's a positive energy. And in terms of timing, this card talks about something that is ongoing. It talks about like an eternal partnership, really. Something divine and true. So I see this present, but then it's like you box it off and you commit instead of to the thing you want to commit to. You maybe have been committing to doubt and insecurity around yourself. Even some of you maybe have been feeling kind of depressed or just very lethargic. Yeah, it's heavy. It's not light and joyful like you normally are. And judgment is just not being real with yourself either, which is also something that Aries is usually not. One of your greatest strengths is your ability to call yourself out and to just be like, yo, this is what's up. Because you know that you gotta fucking be real in life, right? Like you're not gonna get anywhere if you just bitch your way through life, not being real with yourself, not holding yourself accountable where need be. And Aries is a freaking warrior, like you know that. But I feel like there's something you have not felt capable about or around, which makes me really think that this may have been something that caused an ego death for you, or it softened you in some way. It maybe humbled you. I feel it softened you because you're still so fluid with it. There's an energetic and emotional openness here between you and something. It's heart to heart. And even if this isn't a romantic person, it's someone where feelings and affections are strong for this person. Someone you have a great affection for. And that affection gives you courage, or that attraction gives you courage, or that love gives you courage. There's also flirtation and passion here, but there's definitely a strong emotional attachment, especially because the heart came out. The heart card talks about August or the 24th of any month. So in terms of timing, that could also be significant if the 24th is coming up in some sort of way. Okay, I want to clarify the 10 of Wands in reverse. This is an important event or experience that you're going to have within the next 72 hours. And it looks like it's a dropping of some serious weight. And I think it's because like something just has to give here. Something's got to give, but I'm seeing you as being very divinely supported. I just feel like you've been really low. You felt really heavy. Maybe you've been focused on, again, these really critical and self-limiting kind of, or heavy in terms of jealous, resentful, like focused towards somebody else, blaming. For whatever reason, I feel like it's really just because you've been hurt, you've been aching, And you haven't been maybe totally real with yourself about that. And so now I feel like there is a breaking point, and that doesn't have to be scary. It's a release of energy. Wow. Okay. Anything else? Some of you are getting something off your chest, or someone is getting something off their chest. Damn. I don't know. You might be having like a bit of a... There might be a breaking relationally here with someone as well, or just like difficulties clashing energetically maybe. This could be the release of a lot of energy between you and somebody else. Yeah. That you have some sort of agreement with. And there's something that there's something that's been built up here, I want to say, between you and somebody else. Damn. I need to know who this is that is having all of these. Like, who is this that's saying all this? I absolutely need to know. There's something here where there has been a loop or a cycle, and I don't feel like it's felt good, honestly. This is like this Peanuts comic. And he's saying, "This song always depresses me. Play it again, will you?" So I don't know if this was you and somebody in this loop, or if it was just you. But I feel like here, the energy I was picking up on initially, there's a lot of time involved in that. And I don't know why they're connecting me so heavily to so much backstory, but I think it's just like significant that there's a lot between you and this person, or this is a significant union or connection or contract. I don't know. I feel like it has quite a karmic like implications. It doesn't have to be bad, though. Karma's not bad. Karma is neutral, but you could have been also in a very overprotective state because you know that you have a tendency to get really disappointed. And when you get disappointed, you almost, maybe you're someone who dwells in that a little bit or gets stuck there. You could have really strong like water placements, specifically Scorpio, but any of the water signs really. And maybe you finally were like, okay, I'm standing up for myself. I'm not going to get into that space again. I'm going to vet everyone super hard, because you're like, no one should be taught that love is how much shit you can tolerate from someone. I feel like in the past, maybe there's someone who really did not treat you well. There's a relationship perhaps where you got out of it, and in hindsight, you're like, wow, that was some fuck shit. You know, like that was some fuckery that I just experienced. And it could have taken you a long time to heal. But I feel like there's some sort of significant... So whether this is just an energetic release because you're realizing something from the past. Oh, that could definitely be this. You're realizing something about the past. A connection that you've had in the past. You're tapped back into it. And you're going to have some sort of energetic release surrounding this. They want you to look directly at what has not been moving, specifically emotionally. What have you felt for a really long time? Have you been bitter for a really long time? Have you been angry for a really long time? They want you to look at that. Like, what consistent emotion have you been feeling for the longest? There's something specific about that. Because it's meant to move, it's meant to flow. You're not supposed to be stuck in it. For some of you, it's like a depression or just, yeah, anger over someone that kind of took advantage of you in a way. They maybe were kind of manipulative. And you came out of it not trusting anyone, or just being like, I am not doing that again. That was some nonsense. And I feel like you are a lover boy or a lover girl with this Two of Cups. You have so much love in you. You genuinely and generously see, witness, and give and receive love to your partner, and you want the same. That's what you're kind of protecting, because when you do commit, this kind of union is the one that you want. But there's something here where, for some of you though, I do feel like it's two different connections. Like, I feel as though there's a Two of Cups now that's more present and relevant, and I think that you're separated from this person because of the weight of something else. And it could have been the weight. There's a weight connected to a past connection here, or a past contract or union that hasn't really been closed out yet. Even if the relationship had ended, it's like you were still carrying so much heavy energy. You hadn't allowed yet for there to be a true release. And that's happening. And it's really significant, it feels like. Yeah, you're closing out a cycle. And whoever this is in the past, this connection, it was quite a shadowy relationship. There was a lot of emotional confusion and fuckery. This card says, I've seen more spine in jellyfish. I feel like there is a lot of resentment though, because this is from a brand new song. And he says, like, the whole thing is about his best friend who fucked him over and like stole his girlfriend at the time. They had this big like pop punk band to band like fight off, and they wrote like these songs about each other in this situation. He says, I've seen more spine and jellyfish, and I've seen more guts and 11-year-old kids. So have another drink and drive yourself home. I hope there's ice on all the road, and you can think of me when you forget your seatbelts, and again when your head goes through the windshield. That's what he says. It's not subtle either. So I feel like there's been something that's been pretty intense, and you've almost been committed to it, because I think you did feel like someone put you the fuck through it. And you've been committed to remembering in a way, even if it was even if it was from a place of anger. You were like, we will not forget, because you don't ever want it to happen again. And that's understandable, but it is still happening if you're still holding on to it the whole time. You have to let it go and trust that you'll be able to feel it or smell it from a mile away if it does come back to you in some sort of way. But you're not going to really be able to clearly see like what is it and what isn't it, right? If you are still clinging tightly to it within yourself, because that is going to be muddying the waters. So I do feel like you've been angry and hurt about something from the past, and it's time to let that go so you can close it out. And it's very energetic. It's very shadowy. And this is a closure that is going to change you. It's going to shift you. It's going to transform you. You will die and you will be new when it's done, because that's the energy of Pluto. It's not subtle, and it does have a darkness to it, but you can befriend the darkness and turn it into power. You can move forwards and move different and move in strength and softness without fear, without paranoia, without depression. And just, do you know how much energy it takes to carry the 10 of Wands and Judgment on your back and the 4 of Wands in reverse? Like, that is heavy. So yeah, it's time to let that go. And this card, it says, not your fucking angel. So I don't know if this is you I feel like this is you in the past still as well. You could have been tapped into somebody else's energy as well. I'm kind of getting that like one of these is you and one of them is for the other person a little bit. Potentially, but they still have the same unfriendly vibe behind them. So let's just get an oracle card to clarify this Chariot in reverse, because that is your advice. Yeah, but you're under the influence of this unresolved, very deep, very heavy thing that you've still been carrying. And the event or experience that's significant in the next 72 hours is that there's gonna be a breaking point and you're finally going to get release. You're kind of forced into it because it's something that you have been avoiding. I kind of want to come back to this Two of Cups a little bit too and just see why you're in that energy, because you are so soft, even though you're looking at really difficult shit. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that's not going to scare you because you've been in it. You've been in it. You know, you've been carrying this. This is, for the Aries whose reading this is not a surprise to you. You've been belly crawling through the fucking trenches, you know? Yeah. You have left blood on the battlefield. Let your edges be liquid. The Chariot in reverse, and let your edges be liquid. I want to see what it says in the book about this. Okay. Yeah. So it says this is a softening spell that aligns its caster with the flow and fluidity of water. The effects, like all magic, are immediate. I was just talking about you being soft, right? And look at all of the water in this Two of Cups. They're standing in this big fountain, it looks like almost. And they're each holding their cup. I love that representation because it's like they have so much more than just what's in the cup. They're literally standing in it. They are it. So there's something here with the Chariot in reverse. There's been an emotional repression. There has been, and it's time to let it go. It's almost as if you've been afraid because you didn't want to get taken again. You didn't want to forget because then it's like, no, but that makes it okay if I forget, you know, and it's not okay. And I get it. Trust me. I've been there. But all you're doing is reliving that pain and you're keeping yourself imprisoned by it, and you're possibly missing out on being in a healthy enough space to approach things that you really like, other things that you care about that you would like to invest your time into. I want to hear or know a little bit more about the Two of Cups. I want to know a little more about that. But your advice is to soften and to look at, like I said before, the emotion that you've been holding on to that has not been serving you. It has been depleting you, deteriorating you, something fierce, and taking from you. But it's been you taking from yourself, and like ultimately, because I feel like you're out of this already and you have been for some time, but you've still remained committed to this, the most negative parts of it almost. And that's because you feel like it took a lot from you, and you can still acknowledge that while letting go of all of the really heavy, exhausting emotions surrounding it, right? You can just let it be a truth that you integrate. And you can still be strong in that truth and soft at the same time. Tell me more about this Two of Cups. Why is Aries in this energy? The Five of Pentacles in reverse. Someone maybe wants to come in from the cold with you. The Queen of Cups is at the bottom of the deck. I think that there is love flooding in. I actually think this is you. I think there's something that you feel like you missed and you really want to move towards it. Yeah, you want to build the Knight of Cups, the Three of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. You're looking right at it from both angles. And the true and genuine desire of your heart is to close the gap between yourself and someone that you care for. And when it all comes down to it, you do feel like this was something important in your life that didn't go the way that, or it hasn't yet gone the way that truly reflects your feelings towards it. And I think it's because something from the past was preventing you from approaching it with this softness, this openness, this strength, this assuredness in your own capabilities, your own capacity to love and to grow and to commit and to see yourself and someone else and to build and to reconcile differences if they come up, to not be resentful, to not be angry, to not drown. I don't know. I think it's pretty beautiful, Aries. I think that you are reconnecting to your confidence and you're gaining speed. And all of a sudden you like, bam, you're the emperor. You're back on your shit. You're back on your game. And I love that. That is some Aries shit right there. Bounce back game strong, honestly. You get knocked down, but you get up again. You're never gonna keep Aries down. You know? Once you see and you face the thing, you realize it's not as bad as you thought it was. You liberate yourself from the fear. It feels like you didn't see something clear in the past. I think that you saw someone as more innocent than they were, and you're realizing, like, no, this person manipulated me. This person tried to control me. This person was toxic as hell, you know? This was very karmic. I don't know. There's something here. But it's like, rather than drown in or perpetuate the heavy feelings around it, I feel like you're just admitting to yourself the truth of something from the past. You're creating your own closure surrounding it. And because it was so confusing with the 7 of Cups and, you know, all that energy of like manipulation and you maybe not seeing something clear, I feel like someone played off of your heart in the past and your openness. That's why you're scared to open up again. But getting out of this, you still didn't have clarity. Then I understand why you've been holding it open too, because it's hard to move on and create your own closure when you don't have your own clear truth to at least validate and trust, right? So you can say, no, I know for certain this is what I experienced. This is how it made me feel. And this is, you know, my response. Boom. Then you don't need to hear anything from the other person. You're free. You just freed yourself. So I think that you're doing that. And then you may be letting something else in, but regardless of whether you're letting something in or not, you are softening in a really beautiful kind of way, a strong kind of way. And I think that that is gorgeous. So Aries, yeah, that's what I see for you in the next 72 hours. It looks like a big one, but it feels deep, and it feels like I said, it's going to be life-changing with this transformation. Plutonian energy and Cancerian energy, I mean, that is huge. That is a hell of a lot of power, emotional, transformative energy. And this is cardinal water with Cancer. It's like once it clicks, this transformation happens and you are just, you're off. Like the Chariot turned in the upright. You know what you want. You know who you want. You know how you want love. And you're going for it. And you have the world to offer. And anyone who is on the receiving side of that would be lucky as hell. Because Aries are amazing. Amazing fucking people. Love me some Aries. I mean, I'm an Aries Venus, but I have dated a few Aries too. Like, I love the energy. And I feel that Aries is like misunderstood a little bit or oversimplified maybe sometimes. But I see you, and yeah, I love you very much. So this looks amazing, and I hope that you just feel so fucking free once you release this. because you deserve to be. And I think you're going to feel like a new person. So fuck yeah, Aries. I love you so much. You can check your other placements if you feel called to. But I'll talk to you guys again soon. Mwah. Bye, my loves.